It's mid-January, folks, and you know what that means. Snow squalls? Playoff football? Inaugurations? Nah. Welcome to this edition of ACMi News. I'm James Milan. Sure, it's true that you'll find everything I mentioned at this time of year, but I'm talking about a special event that has become an absolute staple of Arlington's calendar over its 37 years. The life and legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King will be celebrated once again on Monday, January 20th, starting at 6:30 p.m. It is always a night of community connection that is infused with the spirit of Dr. King. Pearl Morrison, the iconic face of the MLK celebration for Arlingtonians, stopped by our studio to talk about this year's event and her own 37 years as one of its main organizers.
37 years ago, a group of ecumenical members of the Arlington community and the Arlington churches decided there's something wrong with our culture and our society. People of color, people of different persuasions are still being abused and they're still being hurt. So that means we need to bring forth Dr. Martin Luther King, his teachings, his philosophy, and we need to do it quickly. So we had the first Dr. King celebration. We were going to have it at the Unitarian Universal Church because we thought we would never, ever be able to attract people to come to our program. Very shortly, we learned we had to move our program to the First Baptist Church. It was a mob scene. It was wonderful.
Pearl also touched on some of the memories that stand out over time.
Awful lot of outstanding speakers. I mean, from the religious community, from academia, from the political environment, wonderful speakers. One thing that comes to mind quickly is Deval Patrick came and spoke. You were there? And that night he announced his candidacy at our program. Yeah. Cindy Freeman was responsible for that. She made sure that, he got there.
And she had this to say about those who have attended these events over the years.
I have to say to you that what stands out mostly with me is the Arlington audience that attends the program. We had one night where I couldn't get out of my car. The snow was coming down so hard, I was sliding out of my car. I walked into First Baptist Church, and the crowd, I couldn't place it. What's the matter with these people? But I think that's probably the most outstanding. The people in Arlington, they come year after year, they support us. And we have so many people in Arlington that are sponsors. This year we have additional banks that are sponsoring us. So it's not so much, it's partly that we do deliver a wonderful program, and it's a very, not emotional, but an environment, brotherly, kind of a brotherhood, fraternity environment. So regardless of what's going on, when you leave, while you're there, you're having a good time. When you leave, you've been uplifted. And we have to thank Dr. King for that.
This year's event will include such staples as the initial fellowship hour with light refreshments, the invocation, the free will offering, and the always stirring rendition of the gospel classic Lift Every Voice and Sing that concludes the program each year. Pearl also drew attention to the artwork from a number of Arlington elementary schools that will fill the display cases in the entrance hall, as well as a special tribute to Arlington activist and longtime MLK committee member Ann Mathis, who died in 2024.
Ann is one of those people, I don't think she weighed 100 pounds soaking wet, but she was the most ambitious fighter for freedom and justice and equality. I can remember seeing her, it was pouring rain, and she's standing out with a sign, on the corner there in Arlington Center. She and her buddy Barbara Bolts. And Anne, there wasn't anything she wouldn't do to further justice. She was just a wonderful, wonderful person.
This year's featured speaker is Dr. Kelly Carter Jackson, who's an associate professor of Africana Studies at Wellesley College. And there will be a musical performance by the People's Baptist Church Male Chorus. ACMi will live stream the event as always, but if you can take it all in person, so much the better. Here's Pearl with the last word.
We'll open the doors around 6:15. We'll start at 7. I don't think we'll be there any later than 8:30. So you should probably get home in time for the inaugural ball.